What is going on, you two people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics here. Was not planning on recording a video for today, but I was sitting around playing some video games, playing a little Battletech on the old Steam, and the old Shams bomb came out, and then, all the other NBA reporters tweeted about it as well. Zion Williamson has suffered a setback. There's kind of rumblings of this the last few days, but we get official word from the team. The Pelicans ended up posting a update on their website. After experiencing persistent soreness in his right foot, Zion underwent medical imaging, which showed a regression in the bone healing of his fifth metatarsal. As a result, the volume and intensity of his training will be reduced for an extended period to help allow further bone healing. Additional updates will be provided as warranted. Extended period. I get plenty of stuff wrong. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I get more wrong than I probably get right. But I definitely feel like I nailed this one. I'd be curious, your thoughts down below. Does Zion play a game this season? I don't think he does now. Like, I was kind of already on the fence about that anyway. Given the, we're slowing him down a little bit. That was the word last week, I believe. That was a red flag. And the team hasn't been forthright with him the entire time this year up until the original surgery. I would be shocked if he plays an NBA game this year. There's two things working, or a couple different things working against that, I guess. He is slow to recover from this to begin with, and they're going to want to baby him, and he might not necessarily be pushing to get back as fast as he wants to. We don't know that. The other thing here is the team sucks. Sucks. So by the time he gets health, let's say he's healthy by Valentine's Day, and I feel like that's a stretch. At that point, what's the point of bringing him back? Like, they are not going to rush him back at all. They'll be so far out of it by then. I mean, they're already so far out of it, but they'll be locked into lottery ball contention, even with the weighted system, the non-weighted system these days. They're not going to want to risk losing, getting a couple extra wins here because he comes back. And then even if he comes back, it's going to be a slow ramp up to him hitting the court anyways. It's not like he's just going to come out and start playing 40 minutes a night. He'd probably be on a minutes restriction the entire season. So I could be completely wrong on this, but we'll see. I just don't think he plays a game this year. Now, card prices wise, we'll see how much he continues to drop. There's this weird phenomenon that tends to happen in the sports card world. And I think it might be a little different with him because his stuff's so, I guess, overvalued is the accurate term. Overpriced, overvalued, over whatever. There's more room to fall. But a lot of times we do see, in the past, when guys are out for long periods of time, there's the initial hit, and then they usually actually start going back up again. Like Acuna is the last good example of this. Tore his ACL, took the initial hit, and then slowly started climbing his way back up from there. We see this all the time in sports. Klay Thompson did a very similar thing. When he was out he hasn't played in how long now, his prices were actually relatively unaffected. And I don't know if that's just as simple as, a lot of people aren't selling the stuff because it doesn't make sense. So there's just limited supply on the market. And a lot of people are looking to buy on the dip. So it actually helps elevate prices a little bit. I don't really know. A weird phenomenon tends to happen there. But usually when it ends up happening, you hit that initial cut, and then it flattens out. Now, Zion's been going down for a while anyways, as the NBA market in general has slowly been pulling back. So we'll see how much more noise this causes. I'm sure there was a section of people that were, okay, let me just get through. He's on his way back. I'm not selling at the beginning of the season because I'm already underwater on this card. And this is a good example of selling at a loss. There were people that didn't want to sell at the beginning of the season because they were underwater on the card. Okay, like part of me gets that, but I think people really get hung up on that. So they say, okay, you know, she's training, he's coming back. I'll sell as soon as he comes back. His stuff will get a spike, and I'll sell. Sure, assuming he comes back. So now there's going to be a new wave of sellers. I think there's going to be people that are like, I'm just done dealing with this. I'm fed up. I'm selling. So I would expect by chance, or I think we're going to see another little price drop off of him. Where the floor is, I will be very curious, especially if because I don't think if he's going to miss the season, it's going to be like this. They're not just going to come out and say he's done for the year. The Pelicans have been shady with his medical stuff this entire time, whether it's the Pelicans or Zion's camp not wanting the stuff out there. But it's going to get to the point where it's just going to be these up every couple months. We're going to get an update of, you know, he's slowly healing. He's slowly healing. And then all of a sudden they're going to be like, he's done for the year. And maybe he's not done for the year. You know, once again, I could be completely wrong on this. So I was looking back. I was double checking because I knew that I did a video on this. It was October 14th. I said on October 14th, I think this is when the first like semi-sketch medical update came out that they gave us a little bit more information. I believe that was when the news actually came out that he broke his foot, was on or around mid-October, because it was right before training camp. All we knew is that he was hurt. I just double checked. So what it was in mid-October is that he was not going to start the regular. He was not going to be ready for the regular season. Was around there. It came out late September that he broke his foot, but at that time they were saying, oh yeah, he's good for the start of the season, or he should be full participant in camp, all this jazz. And then right before the season starts, they come out and go, you know what, we might have overstated that a little bit. At that point in time, I did a video saying I would sell every Zion card that I own right now. That came out on October 14th. I was just curious. Once again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. As anyone that follows the channel knows, as much stuff as I get right, I get as much wrong as well. But I was just curious. So I hopped over to Market Movers. Since that video on October 14th, this is a lot of Zion's key cards. This is all his select silvers, his optic hollow, and his silver prism, along with a couple base cards. You could see a whole lot of red. Courtside down 50%. Zion Concourse Silver 50%. This Premier Level Silver 40%. Courtside Silver, we don't know. Only one has sold in this time frame. Optic Base 40%. Optic Hollow 15%. Silver Prism 25%. Prism Base 35%. Now, to be fair, to be completely fair, I could probably look at a Luka chart or a lot of other guys's, and it would look like this since the 14th of October. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. But man, so the Prism Silver is his flagship card, let's call it, other than like, you know, RPAs and stuff. It's at $2,200. This is one of the lowest prices I think it's been. Let me just isolate this individual card really quick here. Get some of this other noise out of the way. And just look at the Prism Silver. Let me go back a year. I'm just curious how low or how far back we have to go for this. Let's go back to March 2020, so pre-pandemic. Let's go back just a little bit further. Back to February 1st. Okay, so this card currently sits at a little over 2K. This was $22.75 was the last sale. It got as low as $2,100 the other day. Pre-pandemic, it was 2K was the floor. February 2020, it was a $2,000 card. $1,800 card in late March. This was right after the NBA season shut down. $1,800. There was it had that big run up right before the pandemic started. For people that don't know, or maybe haven't been in a game that long, the NBA market had a really good run up prior to the pandemic. A lot of people think COVID spurred a lot of this, which it absolutely did, but the hobby was trending in the right direction prior to COVID even happening. COVID just sent it to the next level. Because look at this spike in February and or late February, early March, and a lot of cards were doing this back then. Most of it was influencer based. Got up to 4K, and then the NBA season got canceled and everything crashed. There was a brief crash period, and then people got bored and started spending money on sports cards. So it went from $1,800 and then it started going up. So over in the last, I don't even know how many months that is, almost 2 years, the low is $1,850. It's currently at $2,300. Do we think it shatters these? I'm sorry, 1,700 actually got down to. Do we think this card gets sub 1,700 again over the next couple months, assuming, the general news stays the same? It's an interesting one because 13, almost a 1,400 pop. I think it definitely gets sub 2K, or maybe it floats around 2K. I don't know if it gets all the way back down to 17. It might. I don't know. Once again, curious for your thoughts on this down below. What do we think the Zion floor is post this news? Sports card investor Teapot did a video this morning. I watched part of it. I got interrupted about halfway through, talking about the Zion Mahomes effect on the general overall market, and how even if you don't own any Zion or Mahomes cards, you still want them to do good because it breeds consumer confidence, essentially, is what he was saying, investor confidence in this point. But like, how many people have a lot of money, whether you were on board or not? I wasn't. I don't own a single Zion card. If you don't have any Zion cards, it still affects you because there's a lot of people out there with Zion stuff that are good. This is going to make them feel disenfranchised with the market, the hobby, the risks. Maybe they've never gotten burned this bad before, and could cause them to leave. You never know, or at least take a big financial hit, depending on how much money they had thrown into them. So we'll see what happens for here. We'll see where the prices go. But yeah, like I said, I was just kind of sitting around. This news came out, so I figured I would just record a quick little video for you boys and girls. That's all I got. Sunday morning weekend review tomorrow. Probably talk about this again tomorrow. Catch you on the next one. Peace.